to Always Considered. I'm your host, Andreas Garris.
I'm Mike, also your host.
Well, it all started with Mikey taking all the freaking waves on his longboard. Yeah, no, Mikey was ripping. He was sitting on the outside on the right bar and in the right spot for most of the session, and he's getting in early and doing some of the stuff that Mikey does.
Trying to just get covered up there, you know what I'm saying? Straight shacked, but just watching you guys too. You guys were ripping around. You guys can turn way harder than I can, so all I can do is really tuck in and hope for the best. But
yeah, it was a shifty session, kind of. I don't know. The period was a little long for the beach to be really working, but if you found a corner, it was pretty good. Nice offshore winds and shitty weather in June.
well, so everyone's just stoked that we got surf before we go fishing, and so I feel like we should have gotten in a little bit earlier, but we had to go check other spots.
This is actually how the last 3 years in a row, Mikey and I have gotten our flights canceled to the bay early June, the exact same weather, just nasty. And then the last 2 years in a row, we just went out surfing and absolutely scored both times.
Yeah.
So it was kind of similar this time, other than the fact that that session wasn't because of canceled flights. Dawson,
What's up?
we're mid podcast right now, and now we got it.
Sweet. I am co-founder of Kodiak Surfing, and my name's Dawson Bunch.
Sick. Okay, so now you guys are going to talk about how you guys got into surfing.
It's a long story. First, it started out in Hawaii. I started surfing in Hawaii on a little. My mom was the first one to surf out of our family, and she was really into longboarding. She'd go to Waimea, or not Waimea, Waikiki. That's where she really got into it. Then from there, I would usually just watch and not surf a whole bunch, but I tried it out. And after that, we moved back to Kodiak because we're a Coast Guard military family. Got to know the old locals. My mom got in with them, and at that time, I was like 9 to 12 during that tour. Didn't surf much, and then after that, we moved to Guam, and I got into it a lot more over there. Really warm water and beautiful, clear coral reefs, but super shallow, and the locals were a little gnarly. But we found our spots and found ways to enjoy ourselves and such. And then finally, we moved back here, and I was in high school. And then that's when I met Durs and all them, and that's when I really started surfing a lot more harder. At first, I was surfing shortboards, and I was liking it, but didn't really feel like it was my style. And then I found mid-lengths, started doing a lot more, and then started surfing a lot more, and then finally just progressed to longboarding.
I tried surfing in Hawaii. Actually, Buttons, the famous surfer from the 70s, walked up to our car and offered us surf lessons and sold my parents. I surfed again a couple of years later at a church camp in California. Really fell in love with it. And I remember hearing about surfing in Kodiak. I bought a board in California, brought it back up, bought a wetsuit at the dive shop in town. And I was about 16 years old, or maybe even 15. And then I would just ask my dad to drive me out to the beach on the weekends and got into surfing at that. Yeah, that's when our kind of squad, Jonas, Sam, John the Van, all these guys, we kind of had a pretty core group that is still in town now that you kind of saw. And that's and then Mikey, we became friends with Mikey, and that's when our squad kind of formed, was 2015, 2016, and then that segues us right into Dawson.
I first surfed in Hawaii when I was probably 10 or 11 with my buddy Austin, who lived there in Hawaii. And then I bought boards, brought them back to Kodiak, and didn't surf until I was a junior in high school. And a couple of my close buddies I went to high school with were always going out surfing with Jonas and Durs and those guys. And I always liked the skate park, and I just thought it would be a fun thing to get into and have a new hobby. So started going out more, and Durs and Jonas and Mikey, they kind of took me in, and I started loving it since then.
Elijah Heiner is also a very core guy, part of that group. He just wanted to throw that one in there. He's a legend.
We're all the heavies, so.
Yeah.
I do want to know why you like surfing.
When I started surfing with all my friends, and I realized that I loved sharing each wave and the excitement and the joy of my friends catching waves, me catching waves, and being able to share it with my friends, the feeling that you get after, it doesn't matter how many bad ones you get, one good wave can send you home with a smile on your face and a story to tell. And I really do just like hanging with my friends and seeing them happy and them being happy for me, and just the whole camaraderie out there in the water. I really love that. That's probably the biggest thing for
It's
me.
beautiful.
Yeah, I agree with Dawson on that one. Yeah, it brought us together. It's what we all have in common, and we just go out in the water, go score some fucking gnar, shred, and come back in, drink some beers, have a fire. It's like, and it's also like it's our island, our home, and so it's like we're keeping the Kodiak surf community alive, continuing with the generations. We were the Grom squad for a while. We're all just stoked on it, and so I think it's pretty cool.
I like everything they said, but also like from on a more personal, just me, it's almost like this never-ending hunt with like trying to completely understand or like conquer the ocean, like the Pacific Ocean around Kodiak, right? Like it's the epitome of self-placement. I've seen that somewhere. It's just like putting yourself in the right place at the right time, and you always have something to look forward to. You track the storm all the way from Australia. You're watching the wind and the tides, and then if you do everything just perfect, you can be in the middle of Alaska with no one around, scoring insane waves, and there's no evidence it ever happened. It's like the most awesome moment in time that you share with nature, and then it's over.
Thank you for listening to Always Considered. I'm your host, Mike, and if you come to K-Town, just remember this catchphrase: respect the locals, food chain is forever. Go shred some gnar, bro. See ya.